So the whole painting is looking really good. I've got good depth. I have nice separation of shapes. I can see what's what, but there's a few things that need adjustment. So I feel like this streak here needs to have some warmth added to it. And the water needs to have a little more yellow in it, cadmium lemon specifically. And I also need to come in with my knife and just make some little scratchy marks, purposefully scratchy, and blend some of this kelp in with the water. And a blended soft edge, as I mentioned, is a wet edge, but it also mimics movement. So it'll make my painting be a little less stiff. And it's hard to end up with a stiff painting when you're working with palette knives. But blending is something that definitely helps. And I'm going to add a little more dark to where this cliff comes out into the water, and all the kelp is sort of collected here. So I'm just blending a little bit. And that already improved it greatly. So I'm going to take some cadmium lemon and turquoise blue and white. And I'm going to add some of that pretty yellow color down in here. And again, finish your painting slowly. Take your time. So I add a little of that color, and I'm standing back to check it out, and it looks really good. You want to make sure you look each time. So put a little paint down, step back and take a look. Mix up a little more of this yellow and turquoise. Notice my strokes of paint are still made in the vertical direction and lead to the sea cove. Now I'm going to put a little more green, permanent green deep specifically, into this color. I've got some lighter greens mixed in and some deeper greens. So with every little addition of paint, I'm stepping back. Now, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to make this section here be a bit warmer. So I'm going to use cadmium yellow medium and titanium white. And I'm going to blend this in with what's already here. So I'm just going to put little bits of it down. So that's obviously too bright, but I knew that. So instead of mixing up another color and laying it on top, I'm just blending it in with what's here. And I thought it would be really good for you to see how that's done. And now I'm going to mix in a little more white and gray. And pull that right along the edge, of the water. There we go. That looks much better. Now I'm going to use a little bit of titanium white and mix that in with some of the blue that's here, just to make the the water closer to the sand a little bit lighter. Being very careful not to overdo it. And still enjoying layering the paints and creating lots of texture. Like that. Now I want to add a few brighter reddish highlights up on this cliff. So I'm going to use primary magenta and cadmium red light and some titanium white. I'm just going to stand back and check that out. That looks good. Now I'm going to get some more cadmium red light and put that color closer to the sea cave, since that's the center of interest. So it's really nice. I've got this pinkish red that merges into a more orangey red on this side. And I think I'm going to add a little more white to the sky. So I'm going to blend that white in with what's there. Just to give a little lightness in the sky. I feel it's a bit dark. The sky should always be the lightest overall shape in your painting. The second lightest overall shape should always be things that are horizontal or reflective. So in the case of this painting, it would be the water, where you can see it reflecting the sky in the foreground. I'm going to add a bit of this reddish gray also to the distant cliff. The titanium white, cadmium red light, and I mixed a little turquoise too to gray it down because colors get grayer as they go back in space. I'm going to bring some of that red color down here towards the top of the cliff. So remember, if you're going to repeat colors, for instance, you've got some red plants in the foreground cliffs, and you're going to repeat them in the next cliff back, they have to be a little bit less colorful, so a little grayer and a little lighter. So I've made a red with the same colors, but I've added more titanium white, and I've grayed it down with a little bit of the opposite of red, which was the turquoise green that I had. And that works beautifully too. I think we're done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed painting this beautiful scene at China Cove in Point Lobos.